ladies and gentlemen, we're working on 3.2.2. And on 3.2.2, we're going to be connecting addition and subtraction. It says you have investigated relationships between addition and multiplication, as well as subtraction and multiplication. You also know that multiplication and division are closely related. Are these the only relationships between operations? Today, you're going to investigate this question as you look for relationships between subtraction and addition. So 3-39 says to put 10 integer tiles on your table. With your team, find at least 4 different sequences of steps, adding or removing a number of of integer tiles in each step, to end up with tiles that represent the opposite of 4. Then we're going to represent these methods in an expression. So I'm going to reread this one more time. So the first thing that is going to happen is we need 10 negative tiles. Then we need to have 4 different ways by adding and removing integer tiles so that we end up with the opposite of 4. And then once we have that, we will write it as an expression. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the electronic integer tiles since you're at home and you're able to do this too. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize my screen a little bit so that I can get to the tools. Under eTools right here, then I'm going to go to Tiles. And then, so these are all the different kinds of tiles that I can use. I'm looking under number lines because integer tiles it kind of falls into that category. I probably would have its own, but anywho, I'm not in charge. This is how we're going to do it. So the first thing it told me that I needed to do was to have 10 negatives. So I actually need to stand up to do this a little quicker. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the way, all I'm doing is I'm selecting the tile that I want and dragging it over and letting go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So the first thing that it says is that it wants us to either add or subtract integer tiles so that we end up with -4. So I'm going to go ahead and just maybe kind of rearrange these so it's a little maybe friendlier for us to look at. It doesn't have to be perfect or anything. So with these right here, so I can do a couple of things. So the first thing that I can do is I can start to remove some tiles. Now I'm not actually going to remove them. I can drag them and release them off the screen like this and they go away. But what I can also do is actually touch the tile itself and it turns gray. So that means it's like it's removed. So how many of these tiles will we need to remove so that we end up with the opposite of 4? So I can remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I can do is on this is that we started with -10 and we removed -6. So that would be one way that we could do that. So again, this here, I always am going to start with, my first term is always going to be -10 because that's what it told me how many tiles I needed to have out. Then I have a subtraction symbol because that's what I removed. And then this right here, the second term tells me what I removed. Okay, so that could be one of them. Let's try another one. Let's see here, clear screen. So we have to start, oh, fiddlesticks. Let's try that one more time. Let's go back. There we go. Now I think I can do it. There we go. So I'm going to do this. So again, we're starting with -10. What else could I do to make it so that I got to -4 or the opposite of 4? Some students will see what just worked and that they will they will change it so that they will but using a similar strategy. That was really awkward. So what I could do is I could remove 2, and then I could remove 2, and I could still remove 2, and now I have -4. So if we go back over here, so we started with, again, -10. We removed -2, and then we removed 2 more negatives. And then the last step that we did was -2. So that's the process that we did with that one. So that's 2 that we have. Okay. So it also told us that we could add integer tiles. So what could I add to make it so that I end up with -4? So if I could add a negative and then a positive, like a 0 pair. I could do it that way. Or what I could do is I can also add some positive tiles to make 0 pairs. How many would I need to add? I think that's enough. Let's see. So I have 1 0 pair, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 0 pairs, and I have -4. So we started with the opposite of 10, but we added +6. And that got us to the -4 once we made those 0 pairs. So that would be another expression that could be written on 3-39. So I want you to try to do one more. See what you can do. You can either add or remove tiles, or you could even do both. See what you can come up with on that last one.